Today I'm going to show you how to rewire an old lamp. So the main problem is that these old-fashioned plugs are not particularly safe, and this cable is only single insulated. So that means that if anything breaks through that plastic outer insulation, you've got live wires underneath. Or if these two touch together, then it's not going to be good. So let's fix that. So first thing you need to do is take the shade off, and as you can see on here, this part here just unscrews. So once the shade's off, you just unscrew this part here, pull the flex through, and this is when you see it's a little bit of a problem with this insulation. You see how the plastic is being rubbed off and you can see the copper coming through, so that's a good reason why we have double insulation. So I'll take this plug off and just unscrew it, and then I'll replace the cable with double insulated cable, and I'll show you how to hook that back onto the light bulb socket. With the back off the plug, you can see how it's connected by these brass binding posts, and you can see it's labelled P and N for phase and neutral, and the earth post at the bottom isn't connected. So I've unscrewed the socket from the top of the stand, and as you can see there's a kind of plastic threaded fixture there. This doesn't seem to have changed for 50 years. The modern ones are done the same way, just probably with metal or different materials. So I'm just going to have a look at this socket and see if it's actually worth keeping, because over time the plastic gets old and brittle, cracks, and with the heat of the light bulb, and so I'll just have a look and see if it's still good. The main thing that happens is that the threads start to burr, flake off, and then the whole thing kind of won't close or won't screw shut. So that light socket looks alright. So the next step is to replace the cable. You can see the original cable here is quite thin, and this is a standard cable that will come from a AC cable, like for a computer, and you can see it's pretty thick and round in profile, and it has to go through that tiny little hole there. So I don't think that's going to work, but what I've got is another cable which just has two connectors in it, just the phase and neutral, no earth, and that's actually much thinner, and I think that will go through the hole just fine. So I've just soldered together the old wire to the new wire, so I can use the old wire to drag through the new wire, and usually I find that works very well. Let's see if it'll work this time. So this is an example of making things more complicated than they need to be. When I pulled it on through, it broke away from the other bit of cable, but then when I turned the lamp over, I see that there's a hole in the bottom. You can just push it through yourself. I got the cable through, and then I've just screwed it into the terminals on the light fixture. Doesn't matter which way around they go. It's AC, it's a light bulb, doesn't make any difference. There's just two terminals. All done, so I just need to give it a bit of a test. Seems to work.